5. Oh! Hello everyone! So I bet you're wondering what I was doing just now. Well, I was looking over all of the games that I ended up getting last year because I got more than I usually get, and I decided I should do a top 10. Yep, you guys have seen this kind of video before. So I'm going to be looking over my favorite games of 2019. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into this. I know you guys have seen this kind of video before. Alright, let's go. Number 10! Despite being a big Metroid fan, I had never really got into play the Vania side of the Metroidvania genre until I played this game. Unfortunately, the version I played was the Switch version, which I'll be blunt here, it both looks and plays awful. I can't believe they let this slip through the cracks, and I haven't really gotten around to playing a different port yet. But despite this, I found myself very pleasantly surprised at the atmosphere and cool gothic set pieces across the game. The castle is massive and filled with all kinds of secrets and branching pathways that lead to a lot of variety in what you can find and in what order you can find them. The reason it's this low on my list, however, isn't just the port, as there are certain things about this game that just didn't resonate with me that much personally, but even I can see the winks and nods to the source material, and if you're a big Castlevania fan, let's be real, you probably already have this game, and if you're not, I still think you'll find a lot to enjoy about it as well. I certainly did. So, either way, let's move on. Number 9! Made by the creator of Crypt of the Necrodancer, this game is a crossover between that game and The Legend of Zelda. To begin with, I'm kind of blown away that this game even exists. When it came out, I was moving between places, so I only managed to play it recently, but it's really good. As many of you know, I'm a huge Zelda fan, but I haven't really played Crypt of the Necrodancer, and that's partly because I was intimidated as someone that isn't really good at rhythm games. That said, I had a lot of fun with Cadence. The game has tons of fan service to Zelda, and seems to take some vague inspiration from the first game in the way it handles its overworld. If you enjoy roguelikes, Zelda, Crypt of the Necrodancer, or music, which is pretty great in the game as you'd expect, this is the game for you. Number 8. Many of you might know this, but my favorite indie developer is Inti Creates, known mostly for the work on the Mega Man 0 and ZX games, as well as Mega Man 9 and 10. Papa sponsor me! This game is a spin-off of their Azure Striker Gunvolt series, and follows Copen, Gunvolt's rival character from the first two games. After being introduced as a playable character in Gunvolt 2, Ix builds upon the mechanics and creates one of the most fast-paced games I've played in the genre. I would personally recommend you play the first two before you play this, but this was a really fun spin-off, and I can't recommend it enough to Gunvolt fans. Number 7. Luigi's Mansion is my favorite Mario game. I don't know if that's a controversial opinion or what, but I always enjoyed it for its creativity and at times puzzle-like progression. Catching ghosts and seeing the set pieces and learning about the mansion were really big highlights to me as a kid, and I'm a little bit too old now to get scared by the game anymore, but I really do appreciate several elements of it today. That said, I think I like Luigi's Mansion 3 just as much as the original. It manages to take several mechanics such as the combat from the original and expands them with new physics and ways to explore. The game itself can be kinda confusing though as a side effect, and I can admit I had to look up guides at certain points, such as this one wall that existed in the bottom floor and I just had to vacuum it, but it looked the same as every other wall, but that might have been because I was playing handheld mode, I don't know. But regardless, the gameplay kept me in and I'm really glad I played it, and I'm hoping that future Luigi's Mansion games can stay as good as this, because I'd like to play more. I really had fun. Number 6.
Hello people of the world, it is I, this Knife. Now then, today's video I will be talking to you guys about one of my favorite series, the Atelier series. As you can see, I have the Atelier Riser Deluxe Riser Deluxe box. Now then, if you guys like, you know, a chill, fun experience with RPGs, the Atelier games are just for that. They're not the best with the stories, but you will still enjoy all the love and care that went into all the characters. Like, my favorite is the Arlen series, Rorona, Totri, Maru, and Lulua. You can get the Arlen pack I just mentioned on Steam. Recently, the Dust Trilogy just came out on Steam, so I highly recommend you guys give those a go. The combat features, you know, you get a turn-based action that you can enjoy. Variants have their own stories to them that you can grow and attach to. You'll feel immersed and enjoy this. It's a soothing, fun experience that I believe you can all enjoy.
Thank you for that, Snivy. You guys can go ahead and check out his channel in the description. He is a really big Gunvolt, Neptunia, and Sonic fan, so if you like any of those series, you can go ahead and go there and check out his stuff. Now, I've only played about an hour of Ryza, which is the actual newest Atelier game, and also released this year, which is pretty nuts in my opinion. I'm not really sure which one is better yet due to how little I've played of Ryza, but Atelier Lulua is really fun. Now, this game has borderline no plot, which at first bothered me, but then I got sucked in by its addicting gameplay. The game has this rhythm of going about to explore, collecting materials, which you can then use to synthesize items, which allow you to collect more materials and also fight enemies more effectively, as your main character kinda sucks. The game does keep things pretty streamlined, however, which I hear is different than how it used to be in some of the older games. It has this journal that allows you to keep tab of different items you need to collect, and it gives you these hints for things to look for, so you're always out looking for stuff and figuring out how to progress next. The plot is definitely not this big old grand thing, and it starts to have stakes towards the end a little bit, but it's definitely refreshing in a lot of ways too, where I'm used to RPGs where, you know, everyone has to slay God at the end. And this one was just a simple adventure about a girl that wanted to, you know, keep her Atelier license from running out. It was very fun. It's very tame, very wholesome. I recommend it. And also, the music in it is pretty freaking banging. I'm just gonna play some right here for a second, and we'll move on to the next thing. It's just a barrel of fun. Number 5. Kingdom Hearts 2.9 was a great game. I'm still kind of confused about how short the game was, only with a couple boss fights, but still it was great to experience Kingdom Hearts on a new console, and I'm excited for Kingdom Hearts 3 when that comes out in 2043. Alright, so jokes aside, despite the controversy around this game being unfinished to some people, and the story being a mess, which is Kingdom Hearts at this point, what do you expect? I've always been a fan of Kingdom Hearts' gameplay. It's arguably overrated, but my favorite Kingdom Hearts game is probably Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, and so I was really excited to see that gameplay style make a return. The game takes mechanics, ideas, and characters from across the series, and made a game that gives you tons of combat options, and story-wise it's just full of fan service. Now, I've seen many people rake this game across the coals for not having the exact physics of Kingdom Hearts 2, but honestly, this one is still pretty high on my list of Kingdom Hearts games gameplay-wise. Remind comes out pretty soon, and I'm excited for the new boss fights and seeing where Nomura takes this wild, crazy plot next. Number 4. Bet you weren't expecting to see this on the list. And yeah, I know this game released 25 years ago, but it just now got an English release. So you know what? I'm gonna be talking about it whether you want me to or not. Let's do this. This game, warts and all, is probably one of my favorite action RPGs. It takes and improves on so many mechanics from Secret of Mana, and adds in features like flexible parties, branching final areas, a branching class system, you name it. Even though a majority of the game plays the same regardless, the game gives you all kinds of options for replayability. It also has music by Hiroki Kikuta, who is honestly one of my favorite composers ever, and yet, I'm a fanboy. The only major issue I have with this game is the final class-up system, where you are reliant on random drops, but hey, guess what? They're remaking it, so here's hoping the remake in April takes this game and fixes all the issues. So yeah, let's do this, guys. Get the game, get the remake, let's bring Mana back! Please guys, don't let Final Fantasy VII cannibalize this game. Final Fantasy VII just got delayed to days within release of it. Please buy it. Please. 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 Number 3. Starting out as a Kickstarter game, I've had my eyes on Indivisible for a while. The game is an interesting blend of multiple genres. It's a 2D platforming RPG featuring fighting game elements and a pseudo-Metroidvania world structure. Each of these elements are blended in interesting ways, with many boss fights switching gameplay styles on a regular basis, forcing you to change the way you play. The game's hand-drawn animation is a treat, and the way it manages to draw inspiration from multiple cultures is really neat to see. The cast of the game is also really varied and fun to use and experiment with different playstyles. Like Trials of Mana, the music is by Hiroki Kikuta, who seemed to drop off the map for years until recently. As a fan of his work, as I mentioned before, I was very happy to see what might be one of his best soundtracks yet. Still, I'd say the game doesn't have too much going on in regards to side content, and is 20 hours in length, but what I played was a fun time regardless, and I'm really interested in replaying it. Number 2. So I already made a video on this one, so I won't go into too much detail, but earlier this year I played the entire Devil May Cry series, except for this one, in preparation for Devil May Cry 5, and it was a lot of fun. Having played all of them and giving it time to sit, while I still think DMC3 has a better story, this is the best game in the series by far. Nero went from being okay to an insanely versatile character. Dante was most of what made him great in 4, but better, and V was a great new addition, albeit my least favorite character to play of the 3. I love the boss fights, the story, and the gameplay was just a treat. So yeah, if you haven't played it yet, check it out. It's great, it's fun, let's move on. Alright, so before I announce the number 1 spot, which I'm sure many of you guys have guessed already, I have some honorary mentions here for all of you guys, so here we go. Let's talk about some games that I did not put on the list. So as I mentioned earlier, I haven't played too much of this one, hence why it's here, but this is the newest Atelier game, featuring a more real-time combat and really pretty visuals. From what little I have played though, it is really fun, and I'm excited to play more of it, so yeah, here we go. Another Inti Creates game, this game manages to evolve a large number of mechanics from the first game and improve on them, but doesn't quite stick the landing on world design in my opinion the way the Blaster Master 01 did. Still, it's a very fun game if you just want to experience it and just get through it. And you can beat it within 5 hours. It's a really good game, and yeah, I recommend it. Now, I'm sure many of you guys are going to be surprised that I put this here and not on the actual list, considering how big of a Zelda fan I am, but I kind of want to put this out here. I love Link's Awakening, regardless of anything I'm about to say here. But this game is just a one-to-one remake with prettier graphics. And there really isn't that much to talk about here that I haven't already said about Link's Awakening in my Let's Play, and it's just basically the same game. They attempted to add new things to it, however I don't think everything really worked, and because of that, I don't think this game is worth $60. If you are a huge Zelda fan, I'm sure you probably already got it, and I could recommend it to Zelda fans, but if you're someone that liked, say, Breath of the Wild and you wanted something for your Zelda fix, I don't think this is really going to do it for you. So yeah, regardless, really good game, but it's definitely not in my top 10. Number 1. Alright, so I know all of you expected this to take the number 1 spot, but for real, this game kinda blew me away. This game is not my favorite Fire Emblem game, however there's a lot of things I really like about it, such as the sheer amount of character customization you can have, which routes to go with, and flexibility, as I mentioned with Trials of Mana, is the name of the game on this one. The game can be absurdly long or really short depending on how you choose to play, and in my Let's Play I've managed to sink in over 200 hours so far, as I'm sure you guys could tell from the sheer amount of videos, and I'm still making my way through all that the game has left. It has so much content, and I love Fire Emblem, if you can't tell. I've played pretty much every single game, and I'm still enjoying every single one that I managed to play through. It's fun, I love the gameplay, and I'm super happy that this new game has gotten the amount of love that it has, and I'm super excited for whatever game comes next. Please, please insist, remake Genealogy. We all want it. Do it. Come on, guys. Come on, you cowards. Alright, well, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. This was really fun thinking over the last few games of this year and just trying to figure out what games were my favorite. I played a lot of games this year, probably more than I played in any other year, really. And obviously, one of my main things with this video was just trying to figure out like which ones were my favorite, and there were a bunch of games that I knew of that I haven't actually had a chance to play, so if you guys want to talk about any of those, feel free to do so. I'd be really excited to hear your guys' thoughts. But yeah, regardless, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm still working on that Trails in the Sky video. I'm not sure when it will be done, and I do realize I'm halfway through this month, so this is a little bit late. If you guys have different top 10 games of the year, feel free to say it in the comment section down below. I'd like to hear your thoughts. One game I wish I played was Jedi Fallen Order. That game looked really good, and there were a bunch of other Sony games. I didn't really cover them in this video because I never really played them. But hey, either way, seriously, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Take care, have a nice day, and yeah, I'll get back to Fire Emblem eventually. I just need to be able to stream, which I still can't. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. This game, it's never ending. I'm sorry. Bye. Have a good one. Ciao. I'm just gonna leave it here. Okay.